This week on the SMB Spotlight, we're joined by Jamie Evans, the driving force behind Surrey Hills Private Clients. Specialising in bespoke financial advice and wealth management, Jamie takes a personalised approach to create lasting relationships with his clients to help promote, grow and maximise their assets. And on this week's show, he's going to be giving us some financial advice as well. Jamie, welcome to the SMB Spotlight Show. Welcome to the SMB Spotlight Show. I am joined by Jamie Evans from the Surrey Hills Private Clients. Jamie, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Now, I want to talk all things Surrey Hills, but before we get into that, I do know that you started off in general insurance, before becoming a chartered.
Yeah.
So what was that journey like, first and foremost?
Yeah, sure. So I worked in insurance for about 18 years.
Wow.
Very much in a corporate lifestyle, up in the city and everything.
Stressed?
A little bit.
Yep.
But I think it's fair to say that my passion was always in financial services.
Okay.
And the opportunity to effectively change career just wasn't there, just never materialised. But dare I say it, COVID came along, and I think for many it was a period of reflection.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just turned 40 at the time, had 2 young kids, and the opportunity came about for me to start up effectively and review where I was in life. So I made the decision to start my own business in early 2022. And I've never looked back. I
absolutely love that. Thing is, the business you decided to start is not an easy one. It's numbers, it's people, it's relationships. Tell me the truth. Would you say you're more stressed now or less stressed than before?
I'm less stressed.
Yeah.
Because I spend a lot of time, as I say, in the corporate world, and I feel far more confident in my own ability and myself driving my own destiny than being responsible and answering to someone. So in a strange way, I actually am a lot less stressed than I was, but then I still can't hide behind the fact of the pressures that everyone experiences as a small business owner.
Of course. And, you know, sometimes the financial conversations don't always seem as exciting, and sometimes they seem very scary.
Yep.
So how are you able to kind of have those difficult conversations with your clients?
I think for anyone, it's first and foremost is getting to know your clients, taking time to understand them, their goals and their values, and then really breaking it down for them. I think quite a lot of people are daunted by financial advice, numbers, it's big decisions, but I take quite a lot of pride in breaking that down for people, and dare I say, I draw an awful lot of pictures on pieces of paper, saying, look, this is where you could be, and this is what we could get you to, and this is how we're going to go about it. And I think you take it step by step and constantly make sure that you're not running ahead with a client and they fully understand where you are, but also you're talking their language. I think that's one of the most important things.
And I think it's a conversation that me and my husband both have, because we're both self-employed, we're both looking into the future, and you know, sometimes you just don't want to have the conversation because it feels very big and very daunting. But I think when there is someone who can break it down and just say, look, step by step, and someone who's knowledgeable and actually has the experience, it puts your mind to ease. You know, and from what I understand, you work with people from different walks of life, so from retirees to self-employed to, you know, all kinds of people. What is it like juggling that?
Well, I think, as I say, because I grew up in very much a corporate background, I've worked with big business owners and small SME business owners, so I've grown very much accustomed to adapting my style, my personality to everyone. So I find it very natural, very useful, and very experienced at it. So for me, as I say, I don't find it daunting at all to meet either an 18-year-old or a business owner or someone who's 80 and they want to mitigate their inheritance tax. Actually, for me, it's quite refreshing and challenging, because it means when you're meeting a client, you're talking about a whole array of different things. It's not the same conversation every time you meet someone. Everyone has different needs and everyone requires different advice.
Would you say there's something common that a lot of people don't know when it comes to finances and tax and inheritance?
I think one of the most common things is, A, they're not fully aware that they need to be more protected than where they are, i.e. their potential tax liability. I feel
like I'm hearing you really loud and clear.
Quite a lot of people misunderstand their level of exposure, which is constantly changing. Dare I say it, budget's coming up. There's constant things always happening. And if you don't stay close to it, all of a sudden, where you think you are can be a lot different to actually where you actually are. But I think the one thing is that everyone needs ongoing advice. I think that's one of the most important things. I think some people get a little bit lost with their own circumstances and they think they need to be, I don't know, X wealth or X happening. That's not the case. Everyone requires and everyone deserves financial advice, no matter where they are in their lives.
1000%. You know, I found something out once I became self-employed, that when I was employed, PAYE, there were still certain things that I could claim. Back then, I was like, I never knew that. It's just like, for some reason, this information isn't as readily available as it maybe should be.
Yeah, I think it's, I think being a business owner is brutal. And I think we live in a very tough environment. Dare I say it, almost the economy's not built for entrepreneurship.
1000%.
It's not built. There's no encouragements there. When you start work, there isn't someone there who's going to pay you your money. There's not that protection if something goes wrong. You know, the onus is fully on you. And you're 100% right, really. It's very daunting. But I've experienced it. As I say, I was a business owner. So I go through those same type of challenges. So I think when I meet my clients, I take a lot of time getting to know them, but also I want them to get to know me. I've gone through challenges in life. Dare I say it, everyone in the house has as well. And I think sometimes I'm asking a lot because I'm asking someone to open up to me.
To trust you.
To trust me. You don't meet your best friend and say, oh, by the way, I'm earning this amount. And I'm worth X.
I was going to say, like, you know, sometimes even within couples don't even know how much each other. Have you experienced that before?
It's quite common for married couples to have their own separate advisors and seek separate advice. That's how they choose to do it. So it's definitely not uncommon at all. But I think what makes a good advisor, because we're all qualified at the end of the day, we've all done our maths, our homeworks, we're all good with numbers. We all know, you know, what works is the person. Can you trust this person? Are they relatable to you? But are they more important relatedly not only to you but to your family? And I think a lot of people, when I sit in front of people, I say, look, I'd like to work with you, I'd like to help you here, but not only just you, but your whole wider financial family planning thing, because unfortunately, if something happens to you, your children, etc., then we're going to be advising them as well. So I always so it's important for you to, you know, build a relationship, one built on trust and honesty, not only just for you, but also for the family as well.
1000%. And I know right now, a lot of people care about generational wealth and looking after that, and that's part of what you do. How easy or how difficult is it to actually maintain generational wealth? Because they do say that a lot of times money disappears within 1 or 2 generations. So it's a really good question. It's a lot harder keeping your money than actually growing your money. A lot of, you know, especially in the world that we live in now, inheritance tax is obviously a key word at the moment that's going on. You know, the government likes to go after your money. Yes, they do.
so as a financial advisor, there's an awful lot of things you can do. And I think it's quite obvious, a misconception for a lot of people who haven't sought advice, that they read it in the papers, they sit on the TV, and they've just almost accepted that there's nothing they can do. They're not fully aware of the certain investments that could be made, the certain gifts that people can make, the allowances that people have. There's a whole array of things that can be done, and they simply haven't just gone and asked for someone's advice. If they ask for someone's advice, whether that be me or another financial advisor, I feel sure they'll be pleasantly surprised about what they can do.
I 1000% agree. I had to get an accountant, and I remember thinking, oh no, you know what? I know it all. I can, like, please, what do I need an accountant for? And when I found, like, the things in terms of, you know, declaring on tax and certain expenditures and write-off, I was like, I could do what? Seeking advice is, and I don't know why, but I'm not sure if it's because people feel, no, I should already know this information, or they're too scared to find out what. I think they think the information they're going to find out might be make things worse off. But people are just, apprehensive to go and seek advice?
Yeah, I think in particular from my industry here, is that I think there's just a general bit of a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think some people just don't want to put their hands up and just say, sorry, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But also I think there's also some people are a bit concerned about seeking advice from a financial advisor because there's this misconception that they believe that they need to be X amount of wealth.
Yes.
They need to have X and Y to be, to talk to someone like me, which is totally wrong. Everyone deserves financial advice, no matter whether we're talking about £10 or £1 million. Everyone deserves it and everyone requires it. So I think that's one of the key things that I'm very keen to get across to my clients when I sit in front of them, is to say, look, there's no obligation to meet me, there's no expectation to do anything. Let's get to know each other. Let me share my thoughts and recommendations with you, and then you can go from there.
But also, there's no minimum threshold amount that people should be earning.
Yeah.
Financial advice is financial advice.
Exactly.
What key thing would you say more people need to protect when it comes to their finances?
They need to protect them as themselves. And that sounds quite simple, but the most obvious protection, we go and buy, I don't know, insurance for our phone, just like that. Don't even think about it, or our car.
Yeah.
The amount of people that haven't got, for example, like life insurance in place or income protection, and don't get me wrong, I know seeing that £20 direct debit go out each month is something like,
of course,
but it protects not necessarily you, it protects your family if something was going to happen to you. So the vast majority of people out there haven't got appropriate protection for themselves, but also their loved ones if something was going to happen to them.
And the thing is, I've actually experienced this firsthand. My dad passed away a few years ago, and my dad was quite a meticulous man.
Yep.
So luckily, he had things set up where my mum could just kind of relax once it happened, and it was just like, okay, that's what I need. Oh, I'd never even heard of income protection before.
Yeah.
It's all these little things like, okay, it's not just about your now, it's about the future. And even when it came to his funeral arrangements, it just made things easier, because dealing with that is difficult enough, and then thinking about the financial aspect of it is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Would you say budgets, or how important would you say budgeting is for everyday people?
It's one of the, obviously, when I meet people, first and foremost, I would say to them, I'd ask basically, how much are you earning?
Yeah.
And more often, a lot of people know how much they're earning,
yeah.
but they're not fully aware of how much tax they're paying or how they could mitigate that tax liability.
Yes.
The next bit is, what's your outgoings? Some people have a nice little Excel spreadsheet and they can tell me there and
That's
then.
my husband.
There and then, I'm earning this, outgoings that. That's great, because then you can start budgeting.
Yeah.
You start knowing your numbers and your finances.
Yeah.
Once you've got a good understanding, then you can start to budget.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got that understanding, you can't budget. One of the recommendations I always share with my clients, if they're trying to start to save or budget, is obviously first and foremost, understand their numbers. But secondly, from a direct debit perspective, make sure that it comes out literally on the first of the month.
Yeah.
So i.e. you get paid at the end of the month, the following first month, it goes.
Yeah.
You've paid everything off. And in an ideal world, you've set up a direct debit that's going into a savings account, and you've done that. If you don't, then all of a sudden that money gets left in your account.
Ching, ching, ping, ping.
And all of a sudden you start enjoying yourself again.
Too much, a little bit, tap, tap. It's not even real money anymore.
You've got to show level discipline. You've got to be committed to it.
Yeah.
But to be brutally honest, if you want to get far in life and you want to achieve your goals and ambitions, you've got to have that discipline.
1000%. And I think that shows in every area. They're definitely expenses. So I got married in 2024, last year, and saving for a wedding was a different level of discipline that I had never experienced, And you start realizing how much things cost and how much I'm spending on just stuff that were Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Right? And she's like, oh, okay, so maybe I shouldn't have this now. But it is the idea of discipline, but also just kind of parking your instant gratification for something that's going to be incredibly beneficial for your future.
Yeah.
And that sound signals this season's new segment, the Marketing Minute. We're all about giving businesses the tips, tricks, and strategies they need to grow. And what better place to start than success stories from the world's biggest brands? So to paraphrase the words of the brand we are focusing on today, let's do it. Back in 1988, Nike wasn't the sportswear giant we know today. Competing with Reebok, they needed a powerful message to stand out. Enter Wyden and Kennedy, a small Portland-based ad agency tasked with redefining Nike's voice. The co-founder Dan Wyden found unexpected inspiration in the chilling last words of convicted murderer Gary Gilmore. Let's do it. Wyden tweaked it slightly and Just Do It was born. This phrase went on to be the pivotal element within their marketing still used today. It's short, memorable, and shifted the focus from simply selling shoes to instead motivating potential buyers to embrace their fitness journey. But Nike didn't just rest on its slogan. The company made sure to remain authentic to its core values. In 2018, Nike dropped a bold new ad featuring former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick. At the time, Kaepernick had become a polarizing figure for kneeling during the national anthem, a protest against police brutality and racial inequality. It was a risky move, but Nike didn't back down. Instead, they leaned all in on their message. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. This campaign wasn't just about selling trainers. It was about making a stand, and it worked. Within days, Nike sales soared 31%, and the ad became a global talking point. So, what can we learn? Sell emotion, not products. And don't be afraid to find inspiration in the most unlikely of places. That is your Marketing Minute. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. But for now, back to the episode. I know you have children.
Do, yeah.
Are you already teaching them the ins and outs of what finances really look like?
So I asked my son's very into money. So very into money. My daughter's 10, Olivia, and my son Louis 7. But my son's very into money already. And he's very passionate and very protective about his money. He's already told me that he wants a Lamborghini.
Oh, amazing.
Which is fair. I can see him in a Lamborghini.
Me too.
All day long. And he wants a mansion, which is
Absolutely.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But I think part of me does rub off onto them, I do admit. But one of the things that we're seeing amongst the public is a genuine concern about children and our future's children. What is their lives going to look like financially? And it's quite ironic, really, is that one of the most common investments now that people are making is children's pensions. So they're starting a pension literally as their child's born because they know that in 50 years' time will be an absolute sizable amount of money that will allow them to live the retirement that they want. So,
unless anything changes with the tax with regards to pensions. See, one of my brothers is a actuarial manager, an actuary. So it's kind of linked and kind of not, but I feel like whenever someone works in an element of finance, they're typically good with money because they see what money really is. Is this something, because I know obviously you worked in the industry for quite a long time. You know, going through school education, was this always something you wanted to do, or did you just kind of fall into it? Because the study to get into it isn't just, I'll wake up today and do it.
No, I had two careers, didn't I? I was a chartered insurer, which is the highest level you can get in insurance, and now obviously I've become qualified in financial services too. I've always liked numbers. I am guilty of that, I must admit. I do like numbers, but my key driver has always been that I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to own my own business, and I wanted to build a business that could be a legacy for my children. And I felt doing what I do now was the most appropriate route for that. And it was a big risk, it was a scary risk. I must admit, when I first started, the gas and electricity bill was more than what I was earning. And I remember my wife looking at me going, "You okay, Jamie?" And I'm thinking, and I've got two really young children, but you know, the business has grown from strength to strength. But numbers have always been a passion of mine. But I would say though, it's a bit of a misconception to think for you to be successful, you need to be good at numbers. Yes, you need to have the qualifications. Yes, you need to know the numbers. But going back, it's about you.
Yeah.
You need to be personable,
Yeah.
relatable, trustworthy, honest, all these type of things that basically someone is going to sit in front of you and trust you
Absolutely.
with their finances and their future.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, sitting down, speaking to someone, telling them how much I earn. You know when you do your mortgage application,
Yeah.
and you're like, did you buy? Yeah, I did. That's what. And it's like, that's the most open you're almost gonna be, and it's rather embarrassing, And yes, knowing numbers is great, and of course, you want someone who knows what they're doing. But I want to be able to talk to someone and not feel embarrassed and not feel judged because maybe my spending in the past wasn't great, but I'm trying to be better.
Yeah.
So, yes, the numbers is great, but it's the person, it's the relationships, and that's what this world's all about, is the relationships we build, right?
It is, and as I say, it's important that I always take a lot of time to get to know my clients. Their family, their finances, their ambitions, their goals, what do they like, all those type of factors. But as I say, I share quite a fair bit about me as well.
Yeah.
So people then can start to see, actually, this guy in opposite me is a real person.
Yeah.
He has actually had the same challenges
Yeah.
that I've experienced too. So when I can sit in front of someone and I can say, look, I recommend you do X, Y, and Z, it's not necessarily being taken from a textbook.
No.
I'm sitting in front of you from a real life experience, and I'm saying, look, this is what I've done. This is what the textbooks say, and this is why I recommend you should do it. Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to do a quick fire financial advice round with you.
Go on then.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw some things out there that people watching, listening may also care about. Right now, there's a huge buzz about investing, stocks and shares. Yay or nay?
Investing all day long.
Oh, really?
All day long. Yeah.
Okay. Pensions. Yay or nay?
100% yes.
3,000% yes.
100%. Do not underestimate a pension.
Yeah.
It mitigates your tax liability, and it'll build you a stronger platform for your retirement. It's a must.
Okay, got you. What is the most important piece of advice you'd give to someone who's self-employed?
Someone self-employed, good question. First and foremost, I'd make sure that they are protected.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes it's quite easy to run away with, let's talk about investing money, pensions, all that type. But first and foremost, you've got to protect you as a person if something was to happen to you. Because if something does happen to you, you haven't got the luxury of sick pay or government benefits or anything like that. So what do I mean by that? I mean life insurance and income protection. So if something happens, you and your family are protected.
Got you. Paying extra into your pension, yay or nay?
Massive yes. Yeah.
What are the basic things that someone who is employed can claim back on tax?
Oh, good question. Someone who's employed.
Yeah.
I think one of the mistakes that people make with employment is that obviously when you're employed, you're registered in a workplace pension. Yeah, and you make pension contributions, etc. A lot of people don't realise that if they're a higher rate taxpayer, that they might only be getting the 20% tax relief. So their company might be just set up to pay them pension contributions up to £50,000. Okay. So a lot of people are paying more into their pension and they're not notifying the government that they're doing so. So they're missing out on an awful lot of pension tax relief. So they need to speak to their employer, understand how their pension's being taken, because they could be missing out on significant pension tax relief.
That's a good amount of advice. Free advice, okay?
Yep.
Surrey Hills, you know where to go. Welcome back to the Big Biz Case Files, where we uncover how scrappy ideas turn into billion-dollar empires. Today, we are diving into one of the most unexpected startup success stories ever. Airbnb, the company that started with 3 broke roommates, a few air mattresses, and a box of cereal, and became a $75 billion global travel powerhouse. So it's 2007 in San Francisco. Designers Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia are broke and struggling to pay rent. One weekend, a design conference comes to town and all the hotels are fully booked. That's when inspiration strikes. What if we rented out our living room floor and provided air mattresses and breakfast? They bought 3 airbeds, built a simple 1-page website and called it Air, Bed and Breakfast. That weekend, they hosted 3 guests for $80 each. It wasn't much, but the seed for Airbnb was well and truly planted. After bringing on their third co-founder, Nathan Bazazik, they tried to turn Air, Bed and Breakfast into a real business, but investors didn't believe in the idea. By 2008, they were deep in credit card debt and on the verge of shutting down, desperate for exposure. They targeted the 2008 Democratic National Convention in Denver, where Barack Obama was set to speak in front of 80,000 people. And for one weekend, bookings spiked. But after the event, traffic dropped again. They were out of money, out of options, and out of time. But that's when Chesky had an idea. We're Air, Bed and Breakfast. The air beds aren't working. Maybe we could sell breakfast. With zero budget, the founders leaned on their design skills to create 2 limited edition cereal boxes. Obama O's The Breakfast of Change and Captain McCann's A Maverick in Every Bite. Using a connection from the Rhode Island School of Design, they printed hundreds of custom boxes, bought the cheapest cereal they could find, and hand-folded every box in their tiny apartment, sealing them with a hot glue gun. They pitched the boxes as collector's items and sold them for $40 each. That's some expensive cereal, but against all odds, the stunt went viral. They sold out, making $30,000 in profit and saving Airbnb from collapse. From that moment, the founders proudly called themselves serial entrepreneurs. You get it? That quirky cereal stunt gave Airbnb credibility and exposure, enough to get into Y Combinator, the world's top startup accelerator. With mentorship and funding, the founders shortened the name to Airbnb, expanded from mattresses to homes, apartments, and unique stays, and added secure payments, verified profiles, and reviews to build trust. By 2014, they were in 190 plus countries, and by 2016, Airbnb's valuation hit $30 billion. Airbnb didn't just create a company, they reshaped the travel industry, turning spare rooms into income streams. From 3 broke roommates to a $75 billion travel empire, Airbnb proves one thing: you don't need huge funding to build something huge. You need creativity, grit, and the courage to keep going when everyone doubts you. Did you know the history behind the brand? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. But for now, let's get back to the episode. But moving back to the business, how have you found the growth? I know obviously things were slow at the beginning, but how did that growth happen? Was it through word of mouth? Was it through social media? How did the growth happen?
Yeah, I think the business started off like how any business does. I wasn't in the luxury of having a fantastic network connections. I've had to work really hard to build my business. And it was predominantly built on friends and family to start off with, knowing me, saying, actually, this guy's a good guy, you can trust him. And through that, then I started to acquire clients at quite a regular pace. And then other doors started opening up, particularly I started visiting schools, providing them with financial planning.
That's amazing.
And then I started doing corporate planning. I met some big companies, barristers, and I started doing financial planning sessions with them. So all of a sudden, my world, my sphere just started opening up and broadening up. I admit I haven't been great at social media. It's something that I still need to get my head round. But at the moment, my growth has primarily really come from sheer hard work, referrals, and delivering on what I promised I would do for my clients.
That's incredible, especially speaking in schools, because let's be honest, schools don't teach us what money really means, you know. I remember I got my first job at 17 and I was like, what do you mean I get a text? You know? It's like,
who told me that?
Who is that?
Yeah.
Right? So being able to actually empower the next generation with financial advice that is hands-on, that's a really big deal. You know, what do you wish more youngsters knew when it came to finances?
So there hasn't been one person yet who I've met who hasn't said, I wish I met you earlier. Everyone always says it. I wish I had this conversation earlier. and that's not a good reflection on the school system. I think all schools should have, whether it be me or someone else, come and do a financial planning session once a year for every year group, because I think it's important that they start to understand tax, income, how to budget, how to save, how to know what their outgoings are.
What interests?
Just basic things about compound interest, tax savings, really simple things. Actually, people even my age, even older, still just don't know. And I think when you think how important financial is going to be to people's lives, I find it amazing that the schools just don't even add it as part of their curriculum.
But we know Pythagorean theory.
We do.
And Shakespeare's novels.
We do. Don't ask me about that, but we do.
No, that's as far as I could go. That's as mathematical as I get, you know? But moving slightly forward, where would you like your business to grow? Are there any other areas that you want to move into, or is it just more of you wanting to scale? Where do you see it going?
So the business has grown way above beyond what I would have hoped it to have done. I looked at the business plan that I wrote a couple of years ago, and by all means, that business plan, I just sort of like looked at it and just, that's ripped up. But as I say, the business has grown way above beyond what I could have hoped for. But we are in a stage now where I have several people who I outsource work to.
Nice.
But we are at a stage where I am in the process of starting to look to recruit. So it's a bit daunting at the same time. I am a bit of a control freak, so it is a bit scary. So I'm looking to upscale and increase and bring maybe a financial advisor into my business. But at the same time, you mentioned mortgages earlier on. I'm going to be bringing that into my business too as well. So it's exciting times. So looking forward to it.
Well done, because I think people forget every business that starts. Most businesses that start, if I had the bank of mum and dad, it'll be a lot easier. But the grit, the determination, the discipline, the perseverance, and then to get to a position where you can scale and grow and bring other people along in the journey, that's absolutely incredible. Honestly, hats off to you. As I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, my husband's going to love this episode. He is the financial head of our partnership. I am the spending head of our relationship. We work. It's a union. It works together, right? Before we kind of wrap up, I've got a few final questions for you. And I've got one more speedy question for you.
Go on then.
So this is something that was a little bit older. I don't think a lot of people still do this, but bonds, yes or no?
Bonds, so bonds is a form of savings. So that's where you put money into a bond and you're guaranteed a level of interest for a fixed period of time and you can't touch the money. I think if you don't need the money, personally I would say you get a far better return investing it in stocks and shares. So I think bonds work if, for example, you've got a low level of risk and that's the only risk you're willing to take. But actually if you want a proper return and your level of risk is a little bit higher than low, I wouldn't be recommending to do it.
It's my dad, growing up, he loved a premium bond.
That
was he wasn't really and to be honest, investing in stocks and shares weren't as popular back then either, but he was a real premium bond head. So I just thought, let me ask a question for him. Is there any other small business that you would like to spotlight as we are, on the SMB Spotlight show?
I think for me is that I'm part of the BNI Tudor group. So that team there is fantastic. It's 30 odd businesses.
What is BNI?
I don't understand what it means, but I know
they're great people. That's what they are.
But in all honesty, it's a very close group. It's a group of businesses that clients are very close to their hearts, and they provide fantastic service. So if there's anyone that I'd recommend, especially if a business is out there who's looking to grow and who's not part of a network, I would say you need all the support that you can get your hands on. And by all means, if you want to explore that, then please just reach out to me and I'll be happy to refer you on to them.
Oh, amazing. And that's for, small, medium businesses and basically just resources and the network and just help.
I think because at times when you set up your own business, it can be quite lonely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it can be lonely. It's daunting. And to have other business owners who've gone through the same experience or going through that same experience, I'd definitely recommend reaching out to them.
Oh, amazing. BNI, you heard that here. finally, where can people find you, follow you, reach out to you for services, reach out to you for more information about BNI, financial, everything?
Yeah, so I've got my own website, www.surreyhillsprivateclients.co.uk. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
As I say, my social media presence is getting better, it's evolving, but by all means, you can reach out to me. And as I said earlier on, there's no obligation, there's no expectation. If you just want to shout out and you've got a quick question, you wouldn't mind just look my thoughts around it, I'd be more than happy to help.
That's incredible, Jamie. Thank you so much, because you've actually taught me a little bit. You can tell I've been trying to draw out some info from you, so truly appreciate it. And just thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend, spread the word. We would truly appreciate it. And so will the amazing businesses that join us here as well. Next week, we're going to be joined by Gemma and Sophie, the two amazing sisters behind the clothing brand Theodore and Alfie, which is for babies, toddlers, and big kids. So make sure you tune in.